Welcome, I'm Renaya, and today we cover another portion of our ongoing series. But first, consider the following two questions. Question 1. Question 2. And both to be answered now on today's Food to Go, Ancient Words for Modern Man. Let's begin. Verse 26. Come unto her with thy whole heart, and keep her ways with all thy power. So, to make this simple, all we're saying is this. Come into wisdom with your whole mind, and keep her peace with all your strength. So with all our beings, we are supposed to approach wisdom. And when we do ascertain it, we're supposed to keep it in peace amongst ourselves. Peace can also mean pleasantness, and we're supposed to do it with all our strength, with what's at the very core of us. Verse 27. Search and seek, and she shall be made known unto thee. And when thou hast got hold of her, let her not go. So search and seek, and wisdom shall be made known unto you. And when you have gotten hold of her, let her not go. So no on and off means steady, in a continuous state of gaining wisdom once you obtain some measure of her. Verse 28. For at the last thou shalt find her, and that shall be turned to thy joy. So for at the last you shall find wisdom, rest, and that shall be turned to your joy. So after we have sought continually, at the end of our destination, we're going to find that rest, instead of the bondage that we thought it was initially, is going to be where we can rest and be at ease around. And that all of it was worth it in the end, as we see our sorrow and our discipline has now been turned into a living joy. Verse 29. Then shall her feathers be a strong defense for thee, and her chains a robe of glory. So then shall wisdom's feet shackles be a strong defense for you, and her chains a robe of splendor. So as we kind of covered in the last verse, it's a complete reversal. That which was dreaded is now become that which is of magnificent glory for us, just as a robe, all out in array and majestic royalty, is transformed before us from something that is used for prisoners. So it is with wisdom once we get past the hurdles of learning. Verse 30. For there is a golden ornament upon her, and her bands are purple lace. So to translate that, for there is a golden wreath upon wisdom, and her buns are purple lace. So what are we getting at? We're getting at a crown, something that's being put on top of us from wisdom herself, and that the buns are now purple lace. And what should be noticed is that gold and purple are used, both significant of royalty. So from the stockades into the palace throne is pretty much how this should be interpreted. We are now the sons of the Most High once we have attained wisdom, and she stays with us. Verse 31. Thou shalt put her on as a robe of honor, and shalt put her about thee as a crown of joy. So when we make it into easier terminology for us according to Strong's Concordance, we get this. You shall put wisdom on as a robe of splendor, and shall put her about you as a crown of glee. So what should this signify again? Again, it's the stressing that we're now going to be put into royal attire. That which was lowly and disgusting before, the chains that we saw ourselves in, being prisoners to wisdom, has now become a royal attire. And what more we should notice is that it talks about a crown of joy or glee. Thinking about someone who runs in a race, a marathon, them getting a crown of wreath upon their head that recognizes and symbolizes that they have overcome and won the victory. Verse 32. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught, and if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent. So we should interpret it as this. My son, if you will, showing a choice, you shall be taught, and if you will apply your mind, you shall be cunning. So you will be adept in the ways of this world. You will be adept to go out and to be wise, be prudent in all that you do, where you have the upper hand in all your dealings in the world around you. This is what this verse is telling us. So now we come to question 1. What quality must one possess to learn? And the simple answer is this: a will or willingness to learn in the first place. They must have a desire to gain this information, otherwise it is all for naught. Verse 33, if thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding, and if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. So, interpretation, if you love to hear, as opposed to talking, you shall receive understanding. You'll understand an intellectual prowess about you. And if you bow your ear, you shall be wise. So you will have all the mysteries unraveled before you, maybe with time and maybe slowly, but eventually those things from the ancient past to the present will be revealed to you. You'll have all wisdom. So question 2, what will one gain if he loves to hear? And the answer is simple. One will gain understanding if he loves to hear. A true appreciation, hearing what the thoughts of people truly are if we just pay heed versus talking non-stop. Verse 34, stand in the multitude of elders and cleave unto him that is wise. So, simply stated, stand in the abundance of the elders and adhere unto him that is wise. So, whether you're talking about just the number of elders themselves or those who have come before you that are more knowledgeable, or if you're making reference to the abundance of wealth of the knowledge that they have, if you are approaching wisdom, then you're going to stand. As opposed to cowering back, you're going to stand firm and you're going to stick, you're going to cleave to whomever is showing this trait that you wish to have for yourself. If that person endows wisdom, you're going to seek them with your whole being. Verse 35, be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee. So let's translate this once more. Be willing to hear every pious talk, and let not the similes of understanding escape thee. So many times we may be confronted with new information that may seem intimidating at first, but if there is no contradictions to things that you've learned, if they are lining up with scriptures, if you re-examine even the things that you have learned and found that they may have been lacking or been based on assumption, then we should be willing to give an ear to this information, realizing that many things have been hidden from us, many lies have been told to us, and that many things are going to have to be course corrected. Furthermore, we should never allow any of the similes, which we call parables, to escape us. There are deeper meanings. So just to give you an example, we can be talking about fruit. Okay, you can just look at fruit in and of itself on one level, and then if you make that simile, you see that the fruit can be your offspring. And also, if you look at the spiritual realm, fruit is those fruits of the spirit, those things that emanate from you, that continue to go forth to the world, even if you are long gone. So peace, love, the things that you have implanted unto other people, those are your children at that point in time. So miss not the opportunity to gain understanding of those similes, of those parables in your life. Verse 36, if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. So one more time, if you see a man of understanding, get you early unto him, and let your foot wear the steps of his door. So again, going back to the idea of the elders, if you find anyone who has understanding, then go to them early. Be proactive in your stance and gaining wisdom. Make sure that you're wearing down the steps of their door. Now notice what's also being implied here, that only your feet are doing the action. As for your lips, there's nothing to be said right here of trying to present your own wisdom, own understanding. It's being inferred right here that you are doing the listening at this point in time. If you already come with your own opinions ahead of time, then you're going to walk away with that. Finally, verse 37, let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord, and meditate continually in his commandments. He shall establish thine heart, and give thee wisdom of thy own desire. So let your mind be upon the appointments of the Lord, and meditate continually in his commandments. He shall establish your heart and give you wisdom at your own desire. So these appointments, we're talking about the muad'Dim, the things that have been appointed to align us with the Most High. So this is very important. We must set our mind on those events that will draw us near into community with the Most High, with his Son, and also continue to meditate on the commandments. Without this, then wisdom becomes something that becomes happenstance, that it may be, it may not. And notice what will happen at the end of this. Your heart will be established. It will remain constant if those dates, if the commandments are continually within the heart of the person who's going with their whole heart. And as a result, at any time you want to access wisdom, she is going to be there for you and never desert you. Let's review. Now for our sword ready verse. And that's a wrap. Until next time, shalom.